This is the King, and welcome to the channel. Today we're going to talk about weapon customization inside of the Division, what your agent's going to be able to use on the battlefield. Andrew, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hey guys, this is Andrew. How's it going?
So this first image you're going to see here is a still, and all the images you're going to see is a still from a video that Ubisoft Massive released. And this is believed to be the inventory weapon system that we're going to see inside the game. Here you see an enhanced ACR rare at level 12. Just some basic background information that you may or may not know is that this ACR weapon could drop at any rarity, so common, uncommon, rare, legendary, whatever system they kind of go with, as well as at any level. So a rare ACR could drop at level 1, level 7, level 12, max level. What do you think about that system, Andrew?
I like it. I think it kind of allows for players to get the guns that they want early on, and maybe even at an early level, you might get a lucky drop that kind of sets you a peg above the rest. Just kind of gives some meat to the loot and shoot system that this game's looking to be following.
And what I see here is an ability to use a system like we've seen in other RPGs and shooters, but be able to keep it in realism. You know, we're able to use an ACR, but it's a level 12 ACR. It's a level, 20 ACR. Yes, the DPS, the rounds per minute, the magazine may be different, but it's the ACR we know and love, maybe from, actually shooting it or from our Battlefield games.
Agreed. I think that a lot of games that do this whole kind of weapon rarity system, it kind of loses any and all meat to it, because you start thinking, okay, well, the upper rarity weapons are only going to be found at this level, so they're not even really legendary or like rarer weapons. They're just I'm level 50, so I'll get this rarity of gun. It makes it actually have a leg to stand on. It's got some rationale behind it.
Now in this still, you're also seeing the gun customization. In those slots you have the skin, the optic, the magazine, the underbarrel, and the muzzle. In that, you're also going to see that two of the customizations are different based on a gun. For the ACR, it has a large optic as well as, a long optic as well as a long underbarrel, and a large muzzle. Gosh, meaning that those guns require those kind of mods.
Yeah. So I think we'll see a little bit more. We'll talk a little bit more on that subject. Another still. Just
I can
so
go to
that
that one.
we see. Okay, yeah, we'll show them the other side of the whole thing. You see on this MP5, we've got short optics, a short underbarrel, and a small muzzle. And it kind of just, realistically, that's just the type of gun you've got. That's the style of attachment you'll be able to put on there. Just because the rail on the underbarrel of an MP5 is much shorter than the rail on the bottom of an ACR. You kind of got your long guns versus your submachine guns. It just feels very, very much more realistic. I like this.
Mm-hmm. And again, here you're going to see this MP5 is a common level 1 gun, but it still has all 5 of the customization options. So that's really based on the weapon type rather than the rarity, like some people believed it was. If we go to this next still, what we're going to see is an uncommon level 12 pistol in M1911, but it's got 3 of the slots. It's got the skin, the magazine, and the muzzle, showing that it's the weapon, not the rarity or the level, that really determines that customization.
Yeah, and it all goes back to just realism. This pistol doesn't have a rail on the top to accept an optic. It doesn't have a rail on the bottom to accept an underbarrel attachment. It's just got a muzzle and a magazine and the skin. It's just the gun. It's not adding a level to the rarity system that wouldn't make sense. It's just being realistic, and it's not trying to jerk you around with what you can put on your guns based on the rarity.
Mm-hmm. hmm and what we see here is that small muzzle on the pistol. So you need a modification that is a small muzzle for the pistol,
Mhm.
as well as for that MP5 that you can't use on that other gun.
Yeah, so those two guns, a silencer on the 1911 and a silencer on the MP5 would be interchangeable because they accept the same muzzle
hmm
uh, size. So
Now, I'm going to go ahead and go to this next still, which just kind of zooms in on the that those muzzles, the small suppressor. And I think it's kind of interesting what we see here is a level 4 and a level 12 rare muzzle attachment, but obviously the level really changes, the stats on it. Whereas in level 12 has an extra percent of reduced threat. I'm guessing that's for AI targets,
mhm.
as well as an additional 16 initial bullet stability, which I saw that I was really surprised because normally suppressors in games, I feel, reduce stability or I guess more than not reduce accuracy.
Yeah, they reduce it. Well, I mean, you think about it when you put a suppressor on. In the realistic sense, you're going to be using an ammunition that's subsonic. It's going to be traveling at slower speeds, and they'd be at a much more horizontal trajectory, much more stable. Accuracy, things like that. Just from the video game perspective, there's got to be some sort of trade-off. I don't,
Mhm.
I don't see anything in the little bars above that
I
would
don't see any
indicate.
negative red bar.
Yeah, so we'll just have to see.
And I'm sure that that might be a thing, in different types of mods. We just don't see it here.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm assuming these are early. I don't know, not alpha gameplay, probably. I don't know. Don't quote me.
Now, this next still we're seeing, I think it shows a couple things. What we'd already mentioned about how the mods can be interchangeable, but also that you're not losing a mod if you choose it. Because in the bottom, you see this unequip button, which shows just because you put it on a gun doesn't mean it's to that gun forever. The still also shows that you can put a level 12 rare mod onto an uncommon. So it's really allowing for a lot of customizations. If you're comfortable with M1 911 as your handgun, and that's what you want to carry, and you have this muzzle that's, rare or legendary, you can still put it on.
Yeah, it's you're not locked. If you find, a lucky sweet drop, and you're like, okay, well, I can't use this now. I mean, I'm a level that can use it, but I don't really have a gun that I really want to use it on. You're not locked out if you just want to, I'm going to throw this on my gun for now just to use it and help me out. You're not going to lose that mod later on, which
Yeah.
it adds to the customization, and it also doesn't punish you for customizing. It doesn't force you to go back out there and grind for a piece that you may or may not find. So
Now, going on to this last still, a couple things. The mods on the bottom right show optic mods, which I think is really cool. Being able to see we can do a hollow sight, a reflex sight, all at different levels. As well as one thing is what we see here is the stats of the gun come in DPS, RPM and mag weapons and numbers, but we see bars, and a lot of FPSs do this. Destiny, Battlefield, they do this bar system, and I'm just like, what does that mean? Like,
yeah,
what exactly is my reload speed? What exactly is my accuracy?
yeah, that's it. It's not a perfect system. I agree. It's just these bars can mean anything. It's like I know that a sniper might have its range. A bar would be like all the way full, but is that what I take as 100%, or is that like just a sniper range? Like, what am I thinking? What actually what's the distance I'm actually looking at?
And that's what we see a lot of this is with those bars really changed based on the gun. That range on the ACR could be the exact same as the range on the M1 911, but really they're not hitting the target at the same range. It's that range for that gun type, and that throws things off, I feel, even a little bit more when it comes to the bar system.
Agreed. And one thing that I've just noticed in this picture, looking at it, you see those sights down in the bottom. They've got the
Hmm.
optimal range. I don't know if that's going to be playing with where the bullet damage drop off will be. I'm assuming that's what it's going to be, but I think that adds a little bit of thought to it. Kind of in a shooter like Destiny, bullet drop off is a thing that they've been toying with a lot lately.
Hmm.
If you've kind of got an idea when a ranged buff comes from your sight, that you're going to be a little bit further, but it still doesn't give you an exact enumeration for how exactly further you'll be able to shoot. It's still just a percentage.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, I really enjoyed this overview of the gun customization. I'm really excited for it. I'm excited to get back to a game that has guns based in real life.
Hmm.
Um, I think this is a great system that they're going with. Hopefully, we'll see it in the beta as well as the release of the game.
Oh gosh, yes. Can't wait for that beta.
Yes. And speaking on the beta, I just wanted to plug our movement of hashtag the division. Hashtag Twitch the division. Using this hashtag, you'll be able to see myself and other Twitch streamers that will be streaming the division, both the beta and the release of the game. So go ahead and check that out. Check out our other video that talks a little bit about the movement, especially if you're a streamer. And this has been Decaying, and I'll see you in the Dark Zone.